Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be creating a fall green army toned look using all single shadows. I thought this would be a really cool concept because rather than feeling like you have to purchase a whole palette to get a certain look, you can kind of pick and choose colors that you might not have if you want to recreate the look I'm going to create today. So I'm picking a couple from different brands and I'm just going to kind of dive right into it. So if you are interested in seeing what look I'm going to create, then just keep on watching. Alright, so first I'm just going to start off with a really soft transition shade. This is a MAC shadow called Kid, and I believe this was an older shade that they brought back. I'm not sure if it's permanent or not, but it is on their website. And I'm just using a MAC 224, and this is just going to be the lightest shade that I put in the crease. Alright, now I'm going to pick up a darker medium tone brown color, and this is also a MAC shadow. It's called Saddle, which I feel like everyone owns because it was one of the first, I think, really popular brown shadows from MAC. And now I'm just using a MAC 217 brush, just a slightly smaller crease brush, and I'm just going to define the crease even more. So I'm going pretty soft with these colors because I'm going to build up. I'm going to use quite a few in the crease since I want to do more of like a smoky eye look, and definitely incorporating some army green colors. Alright, now I'm going to pick up one of my absolute favorite colors. I know I've used this in another video. This is the Makeup Geek shade in Desert Sands, and it's such a pretty mustard yellow. I love topping this over browns just to add a really grungy, warm, like smoky effect. And I'm just using the same exact brush as I just used. I love the effect that the shadow gives on top of brown. And I'm really building it up kind of in this inner corner because I really want that warmth to show in the front and for it to be smokier on the outer part of the eye. And basically what I'm doing is I'm just kind of laying down like a foundation for my crease. I know I'm going to have to go back in later and touch it up, so that's why I'm not really spending too much time blending them out. And these shades are also really easy to blend out, so I'm not overdoing it. And then I'm going to go back in with my MAC 224 brush, and I'm just using like a bone color shade, and this is just MAC Orb. If you use like a bone color or skin tone colored shade and just go right along the very edges of the crease colors, just like very high up in the crease, you can kind of soften everything together. Alright, so now I'm going to pick up a Makeup Geek shade. This is one of their newer single shadows, and it's called Grunge. And I'm just going to use a Luxie 229 brush, which is a little bit more concentrated than a MAC 217. And I'm just going to kind of keep this on the outer half of the crease. The shade is so cool because it's kind of charcoal, but it has a little hint of green to it, so I feel like it'll be perfect for this look that I have in mind. So I'm starting by building up the color kind of on the outer third, and then once I kind of have blended most of the pigment on like the outer part of the eye, then I'll just kind of drag the brush towards the front, just so it's like the very smallest amount of pigment, but it blends like really seamlessly from like light to dark. I'm just gonna pick up a little bit more and just kind of tap it on the outer third of the crease. And then I'm going to go back in with Saddle and the MAC 217 and just go right along the edges of that. Alright, I'm going to pick up a Morphe E18, which is more of like a bullet crease brush, and a Makeup Geek shadow in Corrupt, which is just a black. And I'm just going to kind of tap it 2 times into the shadow. And I'm keeping this on the very, very outer edge, lower than that grunge shade that I just put on. Go back in with a little bit of grunge just to make sure that the grunge shade blends in with the black. It's really important to go really like gradually in with black shadow because it's easier to build that up rather than feel like you put too much on and have to take it away. It's basically almost impossible to do that without having to start over. So just be patient with the black shadows, especially very pigmented black shadows. All right, now for the fun part, the shimmer shadows. I actually just got this the other day. I don't think I've ever tried this color. This one is the Colourpop Super Shock Shadow in DGAF, which is a really pretty, like shimmery, coppery brown. I find that the best way to apply these are with your finger, just because they're a very like pressed mousse kind of feeling, so they almost feel a little bit wet. And I'm just gonna kind of focus this, blending it into the black a little bit. Okay, that's really pretty, but I have a better idea. I think I'm gonna put a green down first and then kind of put that on top of it since it has a little gold glitter in it. All right, so I'm going to use a Colourpop press shadow, and this one is called Sideline. And I'm just gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna put this one down first. Oh yeah, I feel like this is gonna be like my main color, and then I'll use the other Super Shock one just to kind of top it and add those gold glitter flecks. I have not gotten one Colourpop shadow that I don't like. So if you are in need of shadows and you're on a budget, then you should definitely check out Colourpop shadows. Their pressed ones and their Super Shock shadows are amazing. I'm just gonna touch up the Grunge shade so that it kind of blends in with the black a little bit better. That way it kind of like mixes in with these dark shades. I don't mind that it's like covering up the black a little bit because I think it's just a really good base to make it look smokier. Add a little bit more of the black just right on the outer part. And then I'm just gonna go in with that Super Shock Shadow DGAF. I'm just gonna focus that kind of on the center of the lid. So that way, like when the light hits my eye, it'll really catch that front part because of all the little gold glitter flecks in it. And now it's like you can still see the green through the shadow, but then you have like a hint of that like copper and then the gold. It looks so cool. And then I'm actually gonna use another Super Shock shadow, but I'm gonna kind of keep it on the inner third of the eye. And normally I would say use your finger, but my finger with my nails like can't fit in that crevice. So I'm just gonna pick up a flat shader brush, and this is just a MAC 213, and I'm just gonna drag it across the top. Don't press too hard into these because you'll literally like create like a crater in the pan. And you do not have to wet the brush because they are really pigmented. It's really pretty. I didn't even say what the shade is. This one's called Cheap Date. It's a gold, but on the eye, it's kind of pulling a little bit more champagne. Not really getting that like gold vibe too much. There it is. Okay, you just gotta build it up a little bit. These shadows definitely deserve a lot more hype than they get because they're probably my favorite formula. They're long wearing, they're super pigmented, and they feel hydrating on the lid because they're more of like a mousse. I'm just gonna tap a little bit more of the green shade. I feel like I lost a little bit of that color, and just kind of blend this kind of like copper shade in with the gold. So just kind of put it in between that. Gonna touch up DGAF, sparkly shade, and just kind of tap really lightly. Just make sure we didn't lose those sparkles. And then just gonna use a little bit more of the gold shade and just kind of lightly make sure that everything is like blending together. It's good to sometimes go like back and forth until you're happy with the blend of them, just to be really patient and build up each color kind of individually so that they're like a soft blend into one another. I'm kind of bringing the gold kind of in the crease in the front a little bit because I feel like it opens my eye, and it's kind of catching the light and bringing a little bit more attention to the front of my eye. So I just think it makes them look a little bit bigger, which I like. Make sure when you're done with the Colourpop Super Shock shadows that you tighten them really, really well, because they will dry out. And then just to kind of touch up that crease a little bit, I'm just gonna pick up Saddle again and just make sure that everything is really soft in the crease. Okay, so I just went in and just touched up my concealer a little bit because I had a little bit of fallout. So now I'm gonna move on to the lower lash line, and I'm gonna pick up a flat definer brush. This is a MAC 212, and I'm gonna pick up the Grunge shade. And I'm just gonna drag this right below the waterline as tightly to the lashes as I can. And I'm just gonna stop about halfway. And then maybe like a little bit of the black. Yeah, I just need a little bit more depth right on the outer edge. Now I'm gonna use a Sephora, this is called the Finishing Crease Brush. It looks really strange. It's almost kind of like a pencil brush, but it's more feathered out, and I really like it for the lower lash line. And I'm just gonna pick up Saddle and just go right underneath everything. Just to kind of smoke out that lower lash line more. All right, and then I'm gonna pick up the Gold Super Shock Shadow in Cheap Date. And this is a Morphe brush. I cannot read what the name is, but I will link it down below. But this is my favorite for like the inner corner, or just adding a little bit to like the lower lash line. Basically like mimicking what we did on the top. I just feel like it's really flattering, and it just kind of ties the whole look together. Gonna build up a little bit more as like an inner corner highlight, and I'm gonna try putting a little bit underneath my brow. All right, and I'm gonna pop on a gold eyeliner in the waterline off camera because it's just gross to watch that, but this is a MAC Technakohl Liner, and I don't really know how to say the name because it's just like $3 signs. All right, so I just put on the gold liner on my lower lash line, a black liner on my upper lash line, and a little bit of mascara on my bottom lashes. So now I'm gonna go in with the Milk Kush mascara for my top lashes. All right, and before putting on lashes, I'm going to skip to highlight. And I'm gonna use two brand new highlighters that I'm very excited about. This one is the new Becca highlighter called Gold Lava. And this is from their Volcano Goddess collection that just came out. And I'm just gonna use a Morphe R36 brush. Hopefully this isn't too dark for me right now. So pretty. It has like little like pink flecks, which obviously doesn't really go with the look, but it definitely has enough gold in there. And I'm just focusing this on the highest points of the cheekbone and just kind of wrapping it up a little bit and kind of hugging it like in the eye socket a little bit, and then just kind of lightly bringing it down. So it's not like a stripe, it's like more of a wash of highlight. And just kind of dust it down the center of the nose and kind of on the front part of like my brow, and then just kind of like lightly connect it. And then if it's a little bit too intense, I usually just go over it with a beauty blender. Kind of on the areas that I don't want it to be like too crazy, so I'll just kind of melt it into my forehead and chin. All right, now I'm gonna pick up the new Fenty Diamond Bomb highlighter, and this is called How Many Carats? And I've used it, clearly. It is absolutely stunning. It almost feels like it's wet. And I love it because it's a super glittery highlighter, and it's gorgeous on top of other highlighters to kind of brighten it and add a little bit of glitter, or just on its own. And I'm just gonna kind of focus this on the very highest part, not kind of like blend it all the way around. I'm actually gonna use the Sigma High Cheekbone Highlighter. This is the F03. It's a little bit more precise. Oh, it's so glittery. Oh, that just made it pop like so much. Oh my gosh, I love it. And I like to use my finger on like my nose because then you get a little bit more of like a precise application that way. Same thing with the Cupid's bow. If you're not a fan of glitter, then I would not advise that you buy this highlighter, but I think it's absolutely stunning. And I love having glitter all over my face, so I'm not mad about it. Okay, Okay, and to just keep with the glitter theme, I'm going to use, this is another new product. This is the Becca Glow Gloss in the shade Metamorphic Gold, and this is also from the Volcanic Goddess collection. And because there's like a lot going on the eyes and there's glitter all over the place, I really want to keep the lips a little bit more sheer, but this is definitely going to match the highlight because it has a little bit of pink reflex in it as well. And I'm just going to set the skin with some Fix Plus. And I like doing that before I put my lashes on just because I feel like you're kind of like re-wetting the lash glue and then they just kind of lift. So I'm gonna quickly go pop on some lashes off camera and I'll be right back. All right guys, so this is the finished look. I've just popped on my Koko lashes in the style Chloe, which are one of my favorites. I wear them all the time. So hopefully you guys like this look as much as I do and you learned something today. And if you like any of the shadows that I used, you can now just purchase them individually rather than feeling like you have to go run out and get a whole palette. So that was the purpose of this video. So if you do like this look, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed to my channel and you have notifications turned on so you know when I post my next video. And if you are not following me on Instagram, my handle is CHELSREYMUA. Thank you so much for joining me today and I'll see you in my next video.